Hedera Hbar. So we finally have some sort of insight as to what Brad Garlinghouse and Leemon Baird has spoken about in the recent interview with Max Walker-Williams. He does spill a bit more details, which we're going to take a look at. Also, the Hedera mainnet has now passed a certain number, which we're going to check, of these transactions. Aberdeen, the Global Governing Council member for Hedera, has actually come out with a statement talking about the technology and who will be left behind. And of course, we will be looking at the price action for HBAR coin today. We're also going to take a look at HBAR Suite and the reason as to why they are useful. All I ask from you are two things, which is to smash that like button and to subscribe to the channel as well. So first things first, I thought that I'd kickstart this video off with the amount of transactions that we now have on the Hedera mainnet. This is 38 billion HBAR transactions that we have now recorded, 38 billion real world useful third-party initiated paid for transactions on the most utilized public crypto network, and just getting started. I think that the last time that I showed you this number was probably hovering at around about maybe 36.5 billion or 37 billion, and that was probably maybe over a week or 2 weeks ago now, and so we have increased by about a billion. And do remember that this is on the mainnet, real world transactions, it's not the testnet. When could we potentially reach 40 billion? Well, my prediction is probably mid-February, towards the end of February, and we should be able to get that 2 billion quite nicely. We are only seeing more real world use cases. This is pretty good stuff. Now, Max Walker-Williams has actually now spilled a few details on his discussion and recent interview with both Brad Garlinghouse and Leemon Baird. So as we know, this is a case with Ripple and with Hedera, and what we could potentially see in terms of the collaboration. They will be working on a few things. So let's check this out.
The interview with Brad Garlinghouse and Leemon, that was absolutely amazing. I am so fortunate to have been able to facilitate that meeting and what that's going to lead to. And there's been a few comments I've seen about people saying, you know, does Hedera really need Ripple? Does Ripple really need Hedera? It's not about that. And I, being honest with you as always, I as a Web2 business owner have always seen most industries as a zero-sum game. If Ripple have a banking customer, then there's not a great chance that bank is also going to want to use Hedera. So it's a zero-sum game. And I mentioned this to Leemon before Brad came over. And Leemon said, Max, you don't understand. At the moment, we're competing, arguing, haggling, and all this tribalism over a tiny, tiny fraction of what could be the customer base. We don't have some of the products that and services and software that we all need in order to compete properly and onboard the entire planet. And I really thought about that. I thought, yeah, you're absolutely right. And he said a time might come where we will be competing for the same customers. But why are we trying to do that now when no one has any real customers? And so I absolutely agree with that principle that we all, as crypto projects, have to work together in order to build the stadium so that later we can have the game. We can have the competitive match. But at the moment, we're all stood in a dirty field, a dust bowl, when we should be all helping build the stadium, and then the games can start. And I think that's a really good analogy, even though I do say so myself, because that's where we are. We need decentralized recovery. That is an industry standard, so it doesn't matter which cryptos you have on your wallet, the decentralized recovery key system works no matter which crypto it is. And we need everything to be accessible and easy to use so that the 99.9999% of the world can join us in this industry. We're so early, and Leemon is absolutely right. We do need to come together. We need to collaborate in order to get the whole industry to a place where we can all then compete for customers. And that pie would be so much bigger and it'll happen quicker if we can do that.
And this is definitely a very exceptional point that they have made. It's not about the fact that whether Ripple need Hedera or Hedera need Ripple. As we know, Ripple's technology speaks for itself. Hedera's technology speaks for itself. We are seeing cheap transaction fees. We are seeing fast and efficient transactions as well. And the technology itself is key. What they're talking about here is the fact that they are able to build upon it in terms of the crypto space in order to actually build the foundation first, get the customers in, and then that is essentially where they can move forward. It's not about competition as of now, and we've seen that already with Hedera and Algorand in terms of their decentralized recovery alliance. And so they are doing as they say, and that is something that I really like. Of course, I will be showing you bits and pieces of the interview when Max Walker-Williams does come out with it, but it's very key that these two are working together, and it's pretty nice to see as well, as there is a bit of crossover. I know a few people that hold HBAR that also hold XRP coin as well. Pretty good stuff. So Aberdeen, as we know, one of our global governing council members, the senior investment manager Duncan Moore has said that corporate leaders that fail to evolve will be left behind by the more advanced financial institutions who are already on a path to public blockchain adoption. And don't we all know this already? I mean, Aberdeen have now actually integrated their tokenization solutions, for example, with Archaea, and on that platform, of course, they're utilizing it with Hedera, and that's essentially how they are able to tokenize their fund. Now, they are actually getting into the space as of now. So all of the other financial institutions that currently don't have the team that are dedicated and developing in that space, they're going to be left behind because all of these other players are in the beginning stages or already integrating this as of now. And we know that for these large asset investment management firms, that their clients are asking about blockchain technology and they're actively wanting to invest in it. So those institutions that don't provide those offerings, what is it going to mean for them? Well, it means that other clients will obviously go to elsewhere. And we've seen that happen, for example, with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, when the likes of Vanguard were not actually offering for spot Bitcoin ETFs. And so what did people do? Well, they closed their account and they went to a different broker. It says over here that the real price for most businesses will come from developing on public blockchains, which offer then the ability to scale products and services through access to a wide global audience. I'm only excited to see what more will be coming out from Aberdeen and how many other funds that they'll be tokenizing as well. And not only in the UK, guys, they are actually offering all their funds across globally. Now, I actually just want to show you this interview that we have between HBAR Bull and HBAR Suite before we have a look at the price action for today. And I want to show you the advantages of HBAR Suite in general.
Blockchain, they can be used on-chain, off-chain, and can be interconnected with any system connected to the internet. All of this, in fact, is fast, secure, and is ultimately scalable, utilizing the Hedera Layer 0 for consensus. It's also beneficial for the likes of enterprises and businesses which need scalability and cannot rely on smart contract limits of 10 megabytes. And you also have a throttle of 350 transactions per second. Whereas with smart nodes, the enterprises could hugely benefit from the scalability aspect with over 10,000 transactions per second of Hedera native speeds. Also, it can actually handle hundreds, maybe even thousands of megabytes as well.
That's fantastic. And what about the fees? Is it cheaper than traditional DEXs and smart contracts?
Yeah, because HBAR Suite utilizes the consensus service, which is far cheaper than smart contracts, we're able to utilize it in such a mechanism that it will actually lower the fees for any transactions.
All right, good to know. So what are the latest developments with the DEX and how can people get involved?
We recently opened up our LP injection program on our DEX. So that was when our DEX has been able to go live, and we've first initiated pools with our own tokens, and we've recently released the Credit Combat token.
And the reason as to why HBAR Suite is beneficial is because we have that interoperability, and that is the great use of the technology. And the thing is that smart contracts can only interact with Hedera. However, with smart nodes, which is what they have essentially developed, it can interact with any service and blockchain. And that is what we need, interoperability into our system. So that is a good one from HBAR Suite. Now, price action of HBAR today, as you can see, we are currently trading at 0.07223. We are down by 5.41% on the one-day chart. We have taken a bit of a dip that we usually do. Now on the volume, we are up by 58.23%, and we are trading at $42.9 million. So in the earlier hours of the morning, you can see over here, we were trading at 0.07452. We have taken this dip to 0.07252, and obviously we've come much lower as of now. So for the 7-day chart, we are down by 7.22%, We were actually pretty decent over here on the 16th at 0.08153. Now, if you remember, this 8 cent mark is potentially where I wanted HBAR coin to stay. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to do that. We have seen these little highs over here, but we came down to 0.07278. Now, we did actually make a little bit of a comeback, but before that, you can see over here, we've taken this dip to 0.07297, pretty much mirroring where we are now, although we have gone slightly lower. On the 1 month chart, you'll see that we are down by 18.73%. It's not really clear in terms of where these support levels are. We haven't actually really made that foundation as of yet. I actually want HBAR coin to get back up to that 8 cent level. I think it is going to take some time for us to do that. We are in the red on the 1 month. I mean, let's see how we do for this week. But if we can actually get to that 8 cent mark again, or even just hover over at the mid-range of 7 cents, then it should be pretty good for HBAR coin. Guys, if you want daily Hedera HBAR coin news, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well.